Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about something that happened in my life. King's Faith here, and we are playing Takakar Reborn. And what I'm going to be talking about is the time that I cut my hand on a wine glass and ended up in Eacham Health. And so what happened is one day I was downstairs and I was just angry, and I had a lot of depression during the week because my dad had his power turned off and his water turned off, and from that, I felt like I didn't have anybody else. But I had my mom, but the thing is, when you argue with your mom, you feel like you are you are arguing with two people because there is a nice version of somebody inside of themselves, and then there is corrupted just anger, and from that anger it turns into just pain, and from pain it turns into hatred. But I don't believe in being angry to do something right because it never helps you out, and you'll learn that in the story that I'm going to tell you about myself. So I'm 16 now, and this happened when I was 16, and for me, going downstairs, I went. So, alright, I'm just gonna start the story. I went downstairs and I was hungry, and from thinking about what would happen if I drank wine, would that make me feel better about what's going on? And you should never do this because it never leads to anywhere about anything. It never leads to you being okay as a person. So I just went and took a wine bottle. I opened it. I poured myself a glass of wine, and I was just like, I don't give a damn. And then from that, I went and I started drinking the wine glass, and the only thing that it did for me was it made me even more angrier than before, because all I was feeling is just, God, I can't handle this. I can't handle doing this anymore. I don't want to live anymore. The anger, I can't handle it. And so I crushed the wine glass like Pinchero from Fist of the North Star in the GIF if you ever seen it. He crushes the wine glass in his hand, and his hand starts bleeding. And my hand started bleeding, and I started freaking out because there was a lot of blood, and I was covering it with a bunch of tissue and a bunch of kitchen towels and stuff to wrap it around my hand. And then I was just panicking, and so I called my therapist, who we're going to call Miss A. And Miss A said to me that, "Hey Marcus, what's going on?" And I told her that, "Hey, I just cut my wine. I just cut my hand on a wine glass because I got angry, and I'm bleeding a lot." And she said, "I didn't suggest for you to call 911." And then for me calling 911 for the first time, I didn't know if they'll be angry at me for this or not because I'm not familiar with calling 911 at all. And from that, they said to me, "Everything's gonna be okay. Just sit there and wait." And I was sitting on the steps and I was just thinking, man, how did it get this bad? How did I let it get this bad? I never knew that it would get this bad. And then from that, I went and I sat there at the steps and my hands started getting cold. I was just thinking, am I even going to survive this? Is this going to be how I die? Is this it? And I said to myself, no, this is not going to be it. I'm not going to let it happen like this. I'm not going to let myself die. Because I wasn't going to die from suicide, blood loss. I was going to die fighting. That's how I would die. That's how I would want to die. Like fighting. but I don't condone that in any way. And from that happening, I finally had the cops arrive to my house and they knocked on the door loud as fuck. Boom, 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 boom. And then I went over to the door and I opened the door and I saw that the cops were there and I said to them, "Hey, I'm the person that called you guys." And then they said, "Okay, sir, I'll just step out of the house." And I didn't see just one cop. I saw one, two, three, four. Four police officers. No, five police officers. The whole army of them. I never saw it before in my life. And I thought that there would only be a little bit. No, there's going to be a whole army. So I went there and I was talking to them with no shirt on and no shoes on. And I was just like surprised. I was set back by this. And from that happening, I went and I said to them, "Is everything gonna be okay? Am I in trouble?" And they said, "No, you're not in trouble. We're just gonna take you to the hospital to get your hand checked out because I had a deep gash in my hand and my hand was just bleeding a lot. And then from my hand bleeding, it was starting to get cold. And they told me that, okay, we're going to send you to the hospital in the EMS truck. And then the EMS truck took me and took me to the hospital. And in the EMS truck, I was talking to the guy about what was going on. And from that, he said to me that, yeah, that sounds bad. And what was going on at that time was that my mom, she went and she allowed me to buy Cyberpunk 2077 on G2A.com because I wanted to buy that on there because it was low price and on Steam it was $60 and I wasn't gonna get anywhere with her on that it would be a $60 game and if you know parents don't like buying expensive things but yeah. And if you're like me, you have to beg like a peasant. But, but yeah, and I went and I just went to the hospital. And then after I went in the hospital, they put me in this waiting room. They checked me in and they took my name and they put a bracelet around me. And when they put a bracelet around your arm, that's when you lose your hope almost. Because it takes your freedom away. You know that you're their property. And then when you're their property, it's just a new world in the hospital because you don't get to see the sky anymore. And it's like that in any building. It's a new world. And then for that, I went over into a waiting room. From the waiting area into a waiting room. And there was other people there and there was this hallway. And they were going to transfer me to behavioral health, but there was too many people there and it was a busy night. So I had to wait to go anywhere. And I thought it was bullshit because I wasn't going to sit there for fucking 3, 4, 5 hours to sit there in the waiting room because it was either that or me walking the fuck out. But I had no choice. So I just sat there waiting in the waiting room to be taken into behavioral health. So, oh my god, not this guy. Come on. Why? Fuck off. What is this guy doing? Alright, but yeah, from that, I went and sat in this waiting room area in this room with a chair and a sink and with medical supplies in it. And there was a glove box, and I went over to the glove box and I started just messing with the gloves, and I chewed off the fingers off the gloves, and I made these little like combat gloves because I was just bored, and I was just sitting there in this chair that you could pull out to sleep on, and I had my phone still, and they didn't take my phone yet, so I was on my phone, and I was thinking about, man, what am I gonna do about what happened to my mom? And what happened with my mom? She tried to order me a game on G2A, and I asked her first before stealing, and I tried to take her credit card off file, and I tried to get a refund, but for me not getting a refund off the website, it made her even more mad because she was thinking that I'm trying to scam her to go and to take her money to buy a game without her permission. And then we got into an argument about it. And if you know how it is to get an argument over something with your mom, it's hell. In this case, in my terms, it's just hellish because both of you guys don't understand what is going on, and in this case, we both didn't understand what was going on. And from that, it was just difficult all day for me to deal with that. I was just sitting in my bed and I was just crying, and I was just pissed. And for me being angry about it, I went and I called 911. And from that, that's an indicator that if you're angry about something and you call 911 over something like this, and you say you want to kill yourself, it's not the matter of that you want to commit suicide. It's that you're angry and you need to get away. In this case, I just needed to get away. And I went and I got away from my mom. And while I was in the waiting room, the nurse told me that, hey, you need to put on a hospital gown. And I went and I put on a hospital gown, and from that, I had to go and all this other shit to go to fuck. I had to go and I had to put on a hospital gown, and I put it on like Piccolo's cape because I didn't know how to put it on. And from that, I went and I I said, "Is this how you put it on?" And they said, "No, that's not how you put it on." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, can you help me out?" They said, "Sir, how old are you?" And I said, "I'm 16." And then when I tried to put it on again, I put it on correctly. Then from there, they took me over to behavioral health after a while. And then from behavioral health, they said, "Oh my god." They said, "Oh, and now we have to go and admit you into this area." And from there, they said to me, um, "Okay, so what is going on and what is wrong? Why did you do this today?" And I had to say it on the phone, over the phone. And then for me saying that over the phone, I had to I had to go and I had to fill out a menu for dinner, lunch, and breakfast. And then from there, they told me that we're either going to admit you into a facility or we're going to let you go home tomorrow. And then from there, they said, And from there, they said, we're gonna go and take you into behavioral health. And then after that day, they said they're gonna take me upstairs because they said we found that we decided that you're still unstable to go home today. And I said that, oh my God, are you serious? And they said, yeah. And I just sat there on my bed with this remote that controls the TV that is wired to the bed. And the bed, it has these controls on it that you could push up and down. And I went and I started just playing with the bed, and they told me to stop. And every time I would be in the behavioral center, because I went there before, and from there I went to a facility, but that's another story. Um, I went and I said that hey, I can't sleep because it was 2 in the morning when I got there from being in the waiting room for so long. And they said to me, well, try to because your meds are not here. If you know, if you take meds, it's hard to even like be able to do anything. Not hard to be able to do anything, but it's hard to function in communication and a lot of stuff. And from there, I went and I just tried to go to sleep, and eventually I went to sleep. Then when I went to sleep, I woke up. I got woken up, and I had to go and tell this lady about what happened while I was at home. And this lady says to me that, okay, um, we need to talk to you about what you said because it was disturbing. And what I said was that like, oh, I have an addiction to pornography, which I actually do. And if any of y'all understand, it's a struggle to go through, and it takes up your time in your daily life. And from there, I went and when I said to them that, well, that's not disturbing to me. And they said, well, it's concerning. And then from there, I had to go. I had to go and I had to stay more days. And I went and I finally got transferred somewhere else, which was upstairs to an area where it's a children's hospital, but they take better precaution and care of you, and they have people there that will watch you, and they will talk to you, and you have like somebody to talk to there, and you can watch new movies on this thing called Care Network, which is a good network. I think it's shit, yeah. And then from there, when I started talking to the assistant that was there, and I started making jokes, and I said, "Hey, my drug dealer sold me a pair of shoes. I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day." Yeah. Then from there, I went and I said that, so how long am I gonna be here? She said, well, I don't know. That's the doctor's decision. It's the doctor's decision. And then from there, I went and I uh, I finally got the phone call to determine whenever I go home or not. And from there, they said to me that, okay, we found out that what you did, and we want to know if you're either lying or not. I said, okay. And I started talking to this lady that was on this telecom prompter on this computer. And if you've been in Atrium Health before, they have these computers that they roll around. and they go and they use it to video call the doctors now that we have that we're in the pandemic. And then from there, when I talked to her and she said, "So you were not suicidal, you just wanted to get away." I said, "Yeah," and I was just angry and like just point blank, man. I was just angry. Then from there, I went and I said, "So what's gonna happen now?" And they said, we're gonna keep you one more night." I'm like, why? Because if you know, being there, it's just hell. Almost. Like now that I was upstairs, it made me feel better. It made me feel a lot better about where it was. So now from there I went over into the shower and I took a shower and I had to have the door open and I oh god man, but at the end of the day, when I went and I woke up next morning, they took me and they went and they said that okay, you can go home now. And from what I learned from being in the hospital was that when when you're suicidal, when you say that you're suicidal, it's either that you're angry or you are depressed. You're never suicidal. It's just that you have either depression or anger in you, and for depression, that dissolves into pain, and anger dissolves into pain. So from the pain that I was feeling, it led me to do these things, which were not okay, and you should never do them. And from that, I learned that if you give yourself hope through anything, you can achieve it through anything in your life to become something that you want to be. Like if you want to go up a mountain, you could do it first mentally, and when you do something mentally in your mind, you will achieve it. And when you achieve it, you can do it physically, and you will be able to do it no matter what. And then from there, I went and I said that to myself. And anybody that is watching this, you should understand that whatever you're going through, you will be okay no matter what because you can do it through mental and physical hope because you cannot get happiness, but you can pursue it. And when you pursue that happiness, you can turn that happiness into something great. And and from there, you can turn nothing into something because an idea comes from nothing, and that idea becomes something. And that's how things are made. That's how things are invented. And from that, I learned that, and I just took that from the hospital, and I took that home with me until this day. And I learned that you should never go and say something out of turn when you're angry because it could change your life. Because going to a facility is not going to help you fully because it's going to alter your life. It will help you, but it will alter your life in many ways. And then from there, I went and I learned that it's it's only good for when you want to get away, or if you really do have a problem. Like I'm not saying that you should never go to HR Health or someplace like that because of what I'm saying, but you should go there if you feel like that. Hey, I feel angry and I feel like I'm hostile. That's when you should go there. That's when it will help you out. And then from there, should always take it to the initiative to help others out as well. Because when I was in the facility, I would help people out, and I would show them like ways of the Bible and how to do things through God. And I'm sorry if you're another religion, but I'm sorry if you're another religion and you don't support what I'm saying, but it's in my opinion, and I support what you were doing as well. And don't forget that it's okay to speak out. And with that said, that's all I wanted to say to you guys today. And even though I'm remotely a gaming channel, I'm actually gonna start doing story time more and more. And from that, I am going to make a series on story time about my life, about things that happened in my life, because I want to share it with other people to know that someone else has gone through that experience. I think that'll make people uh, very appreciative of what is going on in this world today. And from that said, guys, King's Faith is out now. And with that said, um, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And stay tuned for more Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. And I'm gonna go back to it, even though I rage quitted the last time. I got pissed though, man. I died. But yeah. From there, um, I'll catch you guys later. With that said, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And with that said, King's Faith